Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Big Money Show, brought to you by the team of Big Financial Services. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is the president, Glenn Cummings. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be sharing with you 401k pitfalls, why the good is often the enemy of the best. Now, here's the reality. Managing a 401k and looking to that retirement tool to last you throughout the rest of your retirement is like packing for a really long journey. But if you miss just one essential item, it could cost you greatly. So we're going to uncover some of these hidden pitfalls today to help you take more control of your hard-earned money, avoid making costly mistakes, and ultimately make sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals. Glenn, my friend, great to be here with you. Are you ready?
Let's go, Kristen. I am so excited to talk about 401ks because many people out there, they have them, and they are very, very important to many of us that are saving for our retirement.
And we should say, too, that we're using 401ks, but this applies to any employer-sponsored plan that folks have, right? So for you watching, you might have a 403b or a TSP or a 457. This show applies to you, too, but when we say 401k, we are referring to that employer-based sponsored plan that most folks are using to save the bulk of their retirement money.
Yeah, and years and years ago, many of us have heard of pensions. Companies would set aside money and then you retire, you get this guaranteed monthly check. So I do have a lot of clients that have those pensions that are coming in, right? But then they kind of started to get away from that because there's a lot of responsibility for that employer to fund these pensions. And then what they wanted to do is they wanted to kind of take it away from the employer and let the employees contribute for their own retirement savings. They really don't have the pension liability of all of these employees retiring and making sure they're receiving income payments for the rest of their lives, right? So 401ks became very, very popular. And the benefit of a 401k is that it's pre-tax dollars going in. So, if I were to make a certain amount of income per year, but I were to contribute, say, 5 or 6% of that income towards this 401k or 403b, retirement plan, I can deduct that from my overall income. So that's great, right? And then, of course, in a lot of cases, companies will match that. Even another great benefit. So you're having money that's going in and it's building up over time for your retirement. So I love the fact that many of us have these. But the problem is that you don't have the help from your employer or from the company that sponsors that 401k to help you figure out, where am I going to allocate this money that I'm contributing to this 401k. And they don't teach this to you in school.
They don't, and these plans don't come with instruction manuals on how to do it either, right?
No, and I'm sure the instruction manual could probably be this thick if you talked about all the different investments and investment options. So they try to keep it really, really simple for us, and they'll say, a target date fund. We always talk about those, and in some cases you could say, well, I'm retiring at this date or this time, and it'll help with reallocating your positions that you're in, or those equities or bonds. It'll kind of shift things to where you may have a little bit better stability towards the end when you're closer to retirement. But in a lot of cases, because I'm dollar cost averaging every time I invest in a 401k, and I'm buying equity positions at different prices all the way along this journey, I really like to have that growth opportunity of being in some of those mid or small cap or large cap positions inside of those, where if I shift into bonds have really been flat, for about 10 years now, with rising and lowering interest rates. So I really don't like a lot of bonds in those portfolios, but I like the large cap space. I like the larger companies that have some earnings and those kind of things. But the pitfalls are the things that we try to discuss, okay? And those pitfalls are that a lot of folks have old 401ks. You may have 401ks from an old employer, and they're just sitting there, and you're doing nothing with them. Or you're over 59 and a half, and you don't even understand that you may have the opportunity to roll over a portion of that 401k to an outside IRA. And a lot of outside IRAs will take you from that general sponsored plan with certain funds that they only offer within the plan. You may be able to find more diversification, better growth, better advice when you can pull everything out and deal directly with a financial advisor that's going to sit down with you, look at your risk tolerances, look at your horizon, your future horizon of where you want to be, when you want to retire, and how to build out that plan. So your 401k is a part of that plan, right? Because we want it to grow. But then the other problem that we deal with, another pitfall, is the taxation of all of those distributions when we take them in the future.
Yes.
So all of this stuff is really not taught in school. And that's why we are so darn busy. I tell you, looked at my phone earlier, 6 new appointments literally in the last hour and a half with folks that are needing help. Many of you need help. Our phone lines are open. Give us a call. Schedule a time to come in and visit with me. Have a fresh cup of coffee. We are not anywhere but right here in the Tampa Bay area. We're right up the road from you. So please come visit us. Come sit in the office. Bring your 401k statements. Let's help if you're in a plan and you're below 59 and a half and you're still working and you're not able to roll that over. Come in and let me give you some guidance of maybe better options that may be available in your 401k, right? To where you can hopefully grow your money a little bit better, because the closer you are to retirement, the more important it is to really plan these things out.
No, for sure. Very well said. So for viewers who want to come in and connect with you and receive this complimentary written financial plan, again, of course, today we're focusing a lot of the conversation on 401ks, on your workplace retirement plan, but briefly touch on all the other areas that folks are going to be able to discuss with you when they come in for this complimentary consultation.
You know, we're going to discuss everything. We're going to talk about your cars. They better be fast, because I like fast cars. Just kidding, just kidding. We're going to talk about literally who you are, what your goals are, what your dreams are in retirement. You know, a lot of advisors out there that are accumulation advisors, which they're helping you grow your money, they don't focus on all the other aspects of a plan. As we talked earlier, taxes are the biggest nightmare that all of us experience if we have these IRAs that are pre-taxed. We want to try to avoid as much taxation as we can, not only for ourselves, but our spouses if something happens to us, and of course the money when it goes to our children. We want to reduce those taxes. Another thing we want to do is we want to look at allocation. How are we allocating? Where's our money positioned to grow for us, to keep up with inflation? Inflation's a major issue. You know, things are doubling and tripling every 10 years.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we can have a plan that keeps up with that. We need to look at longevity risk, because living a long time, you know, I mentioned in previous shows, you know, my grandmother danced on toe till she was like 86,
Amazing.
I believe.
Yep.
Right? She passed away at 94, I believe. My aunt was 104 years old. Okay? We don't know how long we're going to be alive, right? So planning for the rest of our lives, we could actually live longer than we've worked. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Right?
Yep.
Right? So we're not really wanting to go back to work. So planning for your retirement is one of the most important things you can do. And dealing with 401k companies, really you don't have anyone there that is going to be able to help or guide you. They're going to say, well, go online. It's all there. You can look at the funds and how they performed, and you can pick and choose which ones you're most comfortable with. Well, if you're not an expert at this, you may be picking the wrong things.
Yep.
You may not be able to understand timing of markets and when you probably should move from equities and maybe move into some bond portfolios, or maybe get out of mid and small cap companies, which are the smaller ones, and maybe focus on the large cap space. Right? And most 401ks are completely over-diversified. What I mean by that is, instead of focusing in maybe 30 or 40 of the great equity companies out there, like the Googles, the NVIDIAs, the Microsofts, the Apple, you know, MasterCard and Visa are up incredible profits for years in a row now. You know, why don't we own individual positions in those companies? because your 401k won't allow you to do it.
It doesn't let you do it. There's limitations.
There's limitations. They're going to put you in 500 of the companies, and 400 of them may not be performing that well. Roll them over. Get them over to where you can have great guidance. You can have someone that's going to review it with you, plan out your retirement. It's really a blessing for a lot of folks when they just step outside of their normal business world, normal savings world, and kind of step into the office with me and have a cup of coffee, and we look over everything we have and we help plan their retirement. And many of you could retire sooner. You know, you could be done with this work thing that you don't like. If you sit down with us, we'll share those options with you.
Wonderful. Well, Glenn, thank you. I'm excited for more folks to have the opportunity to do just that. So if that's resonating with you, we encourage you to reach out and schedule your time to receive your complimentary written financial plan today. You can do so by calling the number you see on the bottom of your screen, 888-503-7408. Or if you'd rather connect online, simply grab your smartphone. You can scan that QR code on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that will get you connected as well. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to address what do you do if you have stray 401ks, as so many folks do, and we're going to explore some rollover options that might benefit you as well. So stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
So you have a 401k with a former employer. Great, fantastic. You know, that means you've been able to accumulate some wealth, it's growing, but the problem is you don't have a lot of investment options that may be available to you except for what's in that 401k. So what's the best option that we see in a lot of cases? For clients to simply roll that over. No taxes, they simply roll that over to another IRA if you have an IRA account. And once that money rolls over, you can look at other options that may be available that you're not even aware of. Sit down with a professional, someone that can help you look over that 401k and either stay in the current plan or look to roll that over to where you may have better options that may help improve your retirement in the future. Look at reducing those taxes. Look at getting a great income plan. That's something our company loves to do for folks. We'd love to share them with you. Please give us a call today. If you own an annuity or you're considering one, you probably heard a lot of the noise out there. But the truth is, not all annuities are the same. Some are built for income, others built for protection. But if it's yours and it isn't aligned with your goals, it could actually be doing more harm than good. I'm Glenn Cummings with Big Financial Services. Let's take a second look. Scan the QR code for your complimentary annuity review.
Welcome back. You're watching The Big Money Show. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Glenn Cummings, president of Big Financial Services, and we're so glad that you're hanging out with us today. If you're just tuning in, we are discussing some of the hidden pitfalls when it comes to your workplace retirement plan. For a lot of you, that's a 401k. For some of you, it could be a 403b, TSP, 457. And I mentioned before the break, Glenn, that a lot of people have what we call stray 401ks.
Yeah.
In fact, the average American worker has 5 old dormant accounts sitting around out there.
Oh my gosh.
And what's interesting, it's because we don't stay at the same job, right? So in this day and age, it's common for people to work at multiple places of employment. So they kind of collect these accounts.
Yeah.
And a lot of times folks don't know what to do with them when they change jobs. So they leave them behind, hence the phrase stray 401k, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what folks' options are, because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed. They're changing jobs. They don't know what to do. So they leave the money behind. So I guess there's kind of 2 directions we could go. What are the options, but also what's the danger? What's the problem in doing that and leaving these old dormant accounts behind?
Well, in a lot of cases, you know, we get back to our normal lives. We get back to working, you know, our new jobs. We're busy, right? And we're not always focused about the horizon of where we want to be and when we're going to retire and how much money we're going to actually need in retirement, right? So in a lot of cases, those 401ks, they haven't been touched for many, many years. They may be in those same old allocation options, may be over-diversified in funds that employer's company or sponsor is receiving a lot of internal fees on. So your growth of that money could be really detrimental to your retirement. So if you have multiple 401ks, it's very, very simple to establish simply, it's called a traditional IRA. We just simply open it up for you. Once that traditional IRA is open, then we'll sit down together and we'll call each company, and each company will then send a check made payable to you, the client, made payable to the institution for the benefit of you, the client. That's called a transfer or a rollover.
A direct rollover, right?
Yeah, we don't want to take the checks made payable to us. Then we only have a 60-day period once per year to roll that over.
Right.
So, and here's the other thing that is most frustrating for many, many clients. When they sit down with me and they come into the office and they say, Glenn, I'd like to roll over this account, I have to give them instructions. Number one, that company where your money is doesn't really like to let that money go. Okay?
So they're not really motivated to maybe walk you through that process, right?
They're
And that's
not.
a nice way to say it, yes.
They're not, you know, and there's something called a tax notice, which they want to make sure you've received, and all these things. It just simply states you can roll over your money and the rollover rules, but that could delay a rollover up to 30 days if you simply tell that person on a recorded line, I don't remember receiving the tax notice. Okay, no worries, call us back in 30 days. We're going to send you that tax notice now, but you have to wait 30 days to get your money, right? Or you're dealing with folks that basically work for these companies that have a script. And when they read that script to any person, it is so confusing. It is so scary that if I'm not on that call with you to say, hey, whatever they're saying is okay, the world's not coming to an end,
right?
They're going to finally send your money and you're going to be able to roll it over to hopefully better investment options than what you have accessible in your current 401k.
Right.
So not all 401ks are bad. As I mentioned, they're helping people grow their money. They're helping them plan for retirement. There's a lot of great online tools and things like that to be able to figure out how to invest my money, et cetera. But there's so many more options that are available once you have your own individual IRA and you take the money out of those sponsored plans and you move it over.
Right.
But boy, they don't like letting the money go, ever.
I know.
So you need me. You need a professional that's licensed, that's insured, right? That is going to be working in your best interest, that is going to help you with that three-way phone call to make sure that they do a proper transfer or a proper rollover so you're not taxed on that whole amount. I see that a lot of times where people will say, okay, well, I'm just going to go open up an account at my bank. You know, the markets are a little unstable. I'm just going to take that, I'm going to roll that over. And they don't realize that company will send them a check made payable to them. They'll go stick it in the bank, you know, and all of a sudden a year from now they get a 1099 that says you've received all this income.
And it's taxed as ordinary
income. And it's all taxable. So you have to be very, very careful doing it properly, and that's why you need a professional. This is all I do. I move millions of dollars back and forth between companies and custodians all the time. I'm familiar with that process. We want to make sure it's a smooth process.
For sure.
And we want to make sure that you have those other options that could be available that you don't currently have available in those old plans just sitting there. Let's get them to work. Let's build out some plans that are going to help you retire and be comfortable in your retirement.
For sure. A couple things I want to add too, because not only could you trigger negative tax consequences if this isn't done correctly, but if you're currently under the age of 59 and a half and you do it incorrectly, now you're going to be hit with that early withdrawal penalty of 10% on top of the tax you owe. This is why you can't afford to get this wrong. Now, you mentioned the benefits of doing this direct rollover is the world becomes your oyster, right? You have so many more options available to you because a lot of people don't realize that, yes, it's great to save in something like a 401k. You want to, especially if you're getting a company match. You don't want to leave that free money on the table. But the investment options are limited versus when you roll it over to something like a traditional IRA, you have a lot more available to you. Also fees. So real quick, because I know we need to take another break, talk about how folks could potentially save themselves with fees that they may not even realize they're paying.
Sure. So if you own funds or mutual funds, that's generally what most people have in their 401ks. When I mention over-diversified, you may own 400 or 500 of those large cap companies with not all of them doing that great. And I'm paying fees, 12B1 fees, fund fees, generally in a lot of these funds that we're in our 401k that many of you never see. So we'll do an analysis and we'll show you those actual interior fees that you've never been shown, or they may share them with you in a big thick prospectus that they'll send you in the mail that's 200 pages you're never going to read, or they may send you something via email, something like that. But when you roll those over, I like to look at individual equity positions in larger companies that aren't going to charge me those interior fees or those fund fees. So there's so many options that are available that many people procrastinate. Many of you out there, that's what you're going to do. You're going to procrastinate. You're not going to pick up your phone. You're not going to give us a call. That's fine. You will down the road. Right? Because you're going to keep seeing our show. You're going to keep seeing our Google reviews. Everyone loves working with our firm. It's all 5-star. I'm sure we're going to get one person to not give us a 5-star, okay? But we're so blessed. We serve a lot of families. Please give us a call. Let's look at what you have. Let's see if there's areas that we can improve things. And reduce those fees is so important because fees really affect your overall returns in retirement.
Wonderful, Glenn. Thank you so much. Yes. To our viewers at home, that number to call is there for you on the bottom of your screen, 888-503-7408, and that gives you the opportunity to schedule your complimentary written financial plan today. Or if you'd rather connect online, simply scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. When we come back, how do you take the lump sum that you have accumulated in something like a 401k and turn it into a reliable, ongoing, steady stream of income that's going to last you throughout the rest of retirement? We'll talk about that process when we come back.
The opportunity for investors in the stock market is unsurpassed. There's many folks out there that are truly wealthy that have made investments in the stock market over the years, dollar cost averaging through their 401ks, buying the right stocks and bonds at different prices. But there's also a lot of folks that haven't done that well in the stock market. Maybe you don't have good advisors that may be able to help you with doing the type of work necessary behind the scenes to pick and choose some of those best portfolios. Sit down with the financial advisor to get second opinions of what's available and what may help grow your retirement savings, because I tell you what, all of us would like to retire one day, and the ones that pick and choose and do the right planning generally win. We'd love to talk to you. Please give our office a call.
Welcome back to the Big Money Show, where today Glenn and I have been discussing some of the hidden pitfalls of your 401k or workplace retirement plan. If you're just joining us, we just talked about the importance of not leaving money behind at previous places of employment and why doing a direct rollover can be so beneficial to make sure your money is working hard for you. But Glenn, no matter how someone gets to retirement, whatever type of workplace retirement plan they have, it takes strategy and correct execution to take whatever lump sum amount they've accumulated and turn it into reliable, ongoing income that they can't outlive. This is why, you know, when folks come in and meet with you and they bring in their statements and they're like, here's my plan, you're like, no, those are the tools, right?
Yes.
But that's not the plan in and of themselves. So talk about this next piece of the equation of how you help folks take what they have worked so hard to save and turn it into income.
You know, when I sit down with folks and they bring in their statements and, you know, I see a lot of them are just really devastated because they're like, golly, you know, we've researched and this 4% rule, don't take more than 4% of your investments as an income, or you'll run out. So if I've got $1 million, don't take more than $40,000 a year. People are just saying, Glenn, you know, that's not enough, right? How can I get more than this in income? Well, there's some annuities, right, that'll pay you up to 6 and 7%, right? Is that a bad thing? No. It's generating income and it hits my bank account the rest of my life. And if something happens to me, my spouse receives it, right? And there's some plans, some annuities that if, let's assume that we can generate, say, $6,000, $7,000 a month income on $1 million, right? That if you get sick down the road, that $6,000 to $7,000 a month could double if qualifications are met to help cover long-term care costs, because none of us know when we're going to possibly get sick in the future. Those are planning strategies that we share with clients, right? But I'm a markets guy. I love the markets. I love the opportunity. But it's also important to have some safety and stability, like a Social Security, doing a Social Security analysis. That's important part of income planning. Getting rid of those debts that are outstanding, getting rid of the car payments, those kind of things. We're going to sit down, we're going to build a plan for you. You're going to love it. You're going to love your retirement, especially working with us. And I can't wait to meet a lot of folks. And we never charge a consultation fee. So anytime you guys call in, we'll do a phone call, we'll do a Zoom, we'll do an in-office. We'd love to meet each and every one of you and get you that retirement you deserve.
For sure. Well, I know we only have a couple of minutes left, but you had shared a story in a previous show that I think ties really well, that if our viewers haven't heard it yet, you had a woman recently come in who had those multiple 401ks. So walk us through what you were able to do for her.
Well, we were able to take all of her 401ks, roll them all over to one. That right there was a big stress
to one
relief
IRA
for her. One login access. She has my entire team. We have 7 people that are always on the team. She has full access to her money for income, planning, all of those things. We plan taxes for her. She is now traveling. She loves to cruise. You know, we want you to spend your money. It's your money. You just don't want to run out. We can share with you plans like that as well.
Wonderful. Well, Glenn, thank you so much. And anything else you want to leave our viewers with as we think about these hidden pitfalls with 401ks and workplace retirement plans?
No, just that our calendars are pretty full. You know, get on the calendar. Don't procrastinate. Right? If you have 401ks, sit down, learn and educate yourself. That's the most important thing. Education is key. And the other benefit as well is all of our shows that we record, folks, are on our website. So if you go to the QR code, you get to our website, you can see all of our shows. We always talk about different topics, and we can help improve your retirement if you work with us or not.
Wonderful. Glenn, thank you so much. Always a joy to be with you. And
I love the green. Oh my gosh. Yes, I
nice
love the
and
green.
Bright, right? And thank you all for joining us today. Again, that number to call to start your journey and schedule your complimentary written financial plan is there for you on the bottom of your screen, 888-503-7408. Or again, you're welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. We love you, Tampa Bay. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on The Big Money Show. Thanks for joining us.